Hello world, Shelly here, and today it's time for your Friday foundation fix, where you can get your fix of foundation reviews in between foundation fests. And today I'm pale again, so that I can check out a foundation that's on the bit of the pricey side. So I figured I would buy it in a more close to my year-round Casper the Friendly Ghost color. And so I let myself tan or dye out, and we are going to check out Angie from Hot and Flashy's Holy Grail foundation, which is the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet foundation. Now, I have been watching Angie's foundation reviews for years, and she was part of my inspiration for deciding to get into foundation reviews, because she's reviewing at the 50 plus skin level, and it's useful to me, but it's a little beyond where I'm at, and there just weren't very many 40 plus people doing foundation reviews on YouTube, so that really inspired me. And of course my format is very much inspired by ThaTaylaa's reviews and her format, which I credit ThaTaylaa down in my description box on every single one of my foundation reviews, because she is the queen of foundation review formats. That's totally my inspiration. So wrapping up two of my favorite foundation inspirations right here. So I want to check this foundation out. Now, I do not have the same skin type as Angie at Hot and Flashy. She is more on the combo to oily side. I tend to have dry skin, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. My skin's normal right now. My skincare and I believe the Halo Beauty vitamins have been really helping my hydration levels. What can I say? My skin's not dry. I've never said that in my life. My skin's been dry my whole life, so I'm pretty much normal right now. Now, this foundation is claiming to be suited and formulated for normal to oily skin, so hopefully I'll have a shot at getting it to work for me. I'm on Nordstrom's website right now, and this foundation retails for $50. You get 1 fluid ounce of product, which is pretty standard for foundation here. It's an SPF 15 foundation, and on Nordstrom's website, it is getting 4.6 out of 5 stars with almost 400 reviews. It only comes in 9 shades, so the shade range is crap. But the way their shades work, every numerical instance of 10 is the next shade darker. And I would say these go from fair to medium. There's like nothing on the dark end of the spectrum. So hello Chanel, like it's 2018. But that will be considered in the grading process. Now, with the 9 shades, I've got this in the shade number 22. Now, the name is listed as Beige Rosé, but here's the thing. All of their foundations in this line are either named Beige or Beige Rosé, and the thing that changes is the number. So while this is the 4th foundation from the spectrum of number 1 to number 9, it's really only the 2nd lightest shade, because the 10s come in a beige warm undertone and a beige rosé pink undertone, cool undertone. And then the 20s also come in a warm and a cool. So this is the cool version of the 2nd lightest shade. And not all of the shades have both warm and cool, but this one does. At the lighter end of the spectrum, they've got a little bit more variation there. So that's where we're starting out. In terms of the claims that they're making, this is a lightweight, oil-free fluid foundation, provides you with a gorgeous, long-lasting matte velvet finish for complexion perfection. Its soft focus pigments smooth and perfect the skin for a flawless look that lasts all day. Okay, that sounds lovely. It looks like a small package, but it must be pretty thin. It's plastic. It must be pretty thin, you know, because it is 1 fluid ounce of product. And, you know, if you've got a thick glass bottle, you can make something that looks bigger. But it's nice, it's sleek, it's compact. I'm not super impressed with the packaging for 50 bucks, but I'm not disappointed either. I guess it's fine. We don't have a pump. We have a squeezy tube. So in that regard, I'm disappointed. I do prefer pumps on my foundations, but at least this doesn't let air into the product and you're not getting your grubby paws all in it like a regular shaky bottle. So I'll give it that. Let's take a look at some swatches and compare this foundation to some other high-end foundations in my collection. Alrighty, let's swatch. First up is today's foundation, the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet. This is in the shade 22 Beige Rosé. Next up is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover in the shade R300. Next is the Lancome Renergy Lift in shade 250 Bisque Warm. Next is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place in shade 1C1 Cool Bone. Then we've got the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in shade 3. Then I've got MAC Studio Sculpt in shade NW15. And last up is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro in shade 04 Aspen. Alrighty, I'm starting out with a 43-year-old face. I've got some sun damage that I like to cover up. I have fine lines, especially around my mouth and on my forehead. I do have enlarged pores that like to show up on my cheeks next to my nose, my chin. I have some texture in the center of my forehead here in between my eyebrows that likes to give me trouble with foundations. So that is what we are starting out with. I would call my skin pretty normal right now. Tends toward dry, but I'm not dry at the moment. And I have already primed with the Strivectin Line Blur Factor Anti-Wrinkle. This stuff, I'm almost out of it. I need to get more. It's amazing. Shake well before use. This is darker than I expected it to be. Pretty liquidy. Gonna start on one half of my face with a sponge. This is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. It is dampened. And on the other side, I'll use a brush. This is my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Love this brush. Super cheap, $6. Go get you one. And we'll see if there's a difference in how it applies or how it looks. This is blending out very, very easily. I feel like we're getting really light coverage with the sponge. I can still see a little bit of redness poking through, like where my glasses sit, where I was wearing my glasses this morning. And the finish, though, is really, really pretty. Let's see how the coverage goes on the brush side. I would say coverage is about the same and the finish is about the same. I'd say if you have a preference, brush or sponge, use whichever one you like better because they both look really, really nice in terms of the finish. Let's see if we can build this up just a little bit. I'm gonna put just a little more product on the palette here and let's try and build this up. Okay guys, this is freaking beautiful. If you like a matte finish, it's matte, but it is exactly what they describe. It's a velvet sort of finish. I think the color is perfect. It's just enough that I don't look like a Casper, but it matches my neck and I've just got it's like a teeny bit of color on me. And I think the color match is beautiful. I feel like we're getting like a middle of the road medium coverage. Can you see a few of my darkest sunspots are still just a little bit visible, and I can see just a little bit of this blood vessel that likes to run right under my eye through my cheek area here and give me like a nice stripe of purple. Nice to make it look like I was in a hockey fight last night. So medium coverage, I would say. I don't think we could build this up to be too much more than it is at the moment, but I feel like I'm getting a nice blurring of texture. I feel like I'm also getting a decent smoothing of pores. They're still visible, but not as visible as in real life, so I think it is helping them just a little bit. I don't feel like it's accentuating any fine lines. It is not settling into lines. It is not settling into pores. So far, I am really liking this finish. It's 12:14 p.m. Let's call the check-in time 12:15 so I remember what the heck it was. I'm gonna go put the rest of my face on and I'll be right back. Back, everything blended out fine on top of this foundation. I did not set it with a powder. I very rarely don't set my foundation, but this settled completely down, dried down, felt like I could blend powder on top of it. It is a super lightweight, comfortable, like my face feels soft. But I'm going to say, this one's been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster because as I started putting my makeup on, I started noticing dry patches on my forehead and on my cheek right here. And I just thought to myself, my fears are coming true. It's like sucking the moisture out of my skin as every second passes. But then as I got farther into my makeup, all of that went away. It just kind of disappeared. Almost, I don't know, the foundation warmed up to my skin or enough oils. I don't know what happened, but the dry patches went away. So I think it looks pretty again. I don't know if it's going to stay looking pretty. I don't really know. You know, the only part that looks a little bit dry is right around here, but my forehead looks fine again. So I can't explain that. And we'll just have to watch it and see what happens the rest of the day. But everything blended out fine, even without setting with a powder, and I had no trouble with concealer, although I'm wearing Tarte Shape Tape and it kind of looks like crap on me today. It does tend to dry out my under eyes, and I am overdue for an under eye moisturizing patch, but yeah, gotta do that. So on the rest of my face, I've got finally found the True Match Lumi bronzer. This is basically a repackaging of Glam Bronze. The colors look just about identical. This one's in the shade medium. My blush is Laura Geller, and this is the Peach Delight shade. Very pigmented, but blended out super freaking pretty. My highlight is the Maybelline Master Chrome. This is metallic highlighter in Rose Quartz. And I just wanted to mention my mascara because this had come in one of my BoxyCharms. It's the Butter London Double Decker Lashes, and I was just kind of like meh when I first tried it, but I've been loving it. It's not super dramatic, but it's more than natural. I really like the sort of volume you get at the base of the lash, but then it does great at separation and lengthening. So I'm really digging this for these like in between, not quite super dramatic, but not natural looks either. And my lip is Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, which is freaking amazing. I'm so glad I finally bought it. And my eyes totally stole Tati's look from a few days ago. She did this blue lower lash line, and you know, anytime you can get blue eyeliner back into my life, you know, I came of age wearing makeup in grade school, in junior high, and that for me was the mid to late 80s, and blue eyeshadow was just like the thing, and it's so rarely fashionable to wear blue eyeshadow, but I totally dug what Tati did with it, and so I totally copied that look using the Natasha Denona Tropic palette, which I am absolutely loving. And so that is what's going on this mug. Our check-in time is 12:15. I'll be back with a daylight check-in in a bit, and I'll come back at the end of the night, give you guys my final thoughts. Hey guys, we are at about the 5-hour mark, and I just got a good look in the mirror, and pretty much everything looks the same as it did at 12:15 today. Here is the color match, which I think is really nice. I think overall everything looks about the same. Nothing is settling into lines, nothing looks dry, but I will say that it is feeling a tiny bit drying. I'm starting to feel that sort of dryness, like that itchy, dehydrated sensation. So it is feeling a little bit dry, but overall I think it does still look quite nice. It's not my favorite finish on the planet. It doesn't look quite as nice as I hoped it would, but it still looks, I think, very nice. So that's where we're at. I will be back in a few hours with a final check-in. Hey, what's the time? Say what's the time? It's time to get ill. What's the time? It's time to get ill. 9:38 p.m. and that puts us just past the 9-hour mark with the already dirty Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet. Yes, that's what it's called. And let's take a look at how it's holding up. Just past 9 hours, and I would say It's holding up really well. I had to blow my nose a couple times today. My allergies have been going cray, and for as much as I had to touch my nose, I'm shocked at how little the product moved around. Let's zoom in up close. I think it is just teeny bit starting to wear off of my chin at this point. My blush bronzer highlight is completely intact. I don't feel like it has faded at all. Like I said, my nose I think looks remarkably good considering how much I had to touch my nose throughout the day. Everything else looks pretty much the same as it did this morning. Why didn't you guys tell me that I had gone so ham on the bronzer on my forehead? But other than that, I think everything looks great. This did not settle into any of my lines. It did not settle into pores. It really hasn't caked up anywhere. My main complaint in terms of wearability is that it does feel drying. My skin feels quite a bit dehydrated compared to before I put this foundation on, and I was already starting to feel it at the 5-hour mark. So I do think if you have dry skin, this may be a no-go. However, if you've got maturing skin and you've got normal to combo to oily, I think this is definitely worth taking a look at. It's, I think, fantastic for maturing skin. I've had no trouble whatsoever with any of the complaints that would typically go along with signs of maturing in fine lines, in texture, in enlarged pores. All of that, this foundation handled like a champ. So if I had to give a grade to the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet for dry, maturing skin, I'm gonna go solid B. The two main things that are holding this back are that it is slightly drying, I believe, at least it is on me, and the shade range sucks. But I think it's super comfortable to wear. I think the finish looks really nice if you like the matte velvet type of a finish. It holds that claim very well. I think it wears well over time. I think I could easily get a couple more hours out of this and probably get a full 12 and still look respectable and reasonable at the end of that time. I like it. I really like it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to wear it. I wish they had more shades, and I wish it wasn't quite so drying, but I think I'll be able to get away with wearing it throughout the summer when my skin is more toward the normal side of the spectrum. And there you have it. My thoughts on the Chanel. I give it a thumbs up, solid B. If you would like to see more foundation reviews or you enjoyed this one, please give me a thumbs up down below. Let me know down in the comments what foundations you would like to see me review. The Sephora VIB sale is going on right this minute, and if you're Rouge, you can shop this weekend. If you are VIB or Beauty Insider, you can shop next weekend, and I will probably be shopping both weekends. So let me know what you would like me to pick up. I've got a bunch of foundations on my list. I'm going to be grabbing a few, but if you have one to recommend that I haven't checked out yet, I have over 80 foundations on my website now. What? Like, don't do the math. Just don't do the math. Let's not think about it. Because yes, I still do have to buy all of the makeup I use on this channel. But if you would like to go search the ones that I've already checked out, go to my website, geekoutofwater.com, click the Foundation Fest link. I've got a ranked, sortable, searchable spreadsheet of all of my reviews and all of the data that goes along with them. Was it hydrating? Was it drying? Did it settle into pores? Was it cakey? Does it have SPF? Is it vegan? Is it cruelty-free? Yada, 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 yada. It's all in the spreadsheet. Go check out the spreadsheet. Let me know what you want to see in the future. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.